America built off of?
Violence and entrepreneurship.
So if you had to tell another 6-year-old like yourself what to look out for, what would you tell them?
They will kill you for the right price.
Are you a buyer or a seller?
A seller.
If I gave you $1 million right now, would you buy candy or a candy store?
A candy store.
What is the goal to be?
Independent.
If you lost everything tonight, what you got tomorrow?
Intellectual property.
And what is intellectual property?
They can take your possessions, but you can't take their mind.
How do you say group economics in Spanish?
Economía de grupo.
How do you say barter system?
Sistema de cambio.
If I gave you something for 500 and you flipped it to the next man for 2,000, what is that called?
Upselling.
All right, now me as your leader, as your father, the person that's supposed to have your best interest. If I celebrate holidays and Christmas your entire life, and you got to go beg somebody for a job at 18, what did I do?
You failed me financially.
And I want you to tell me how fast can somebody be a victim of gun violence in America?
It's fast.
Was told to hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. In a place that hears no evil, sees no evil. Where the oppressor sees no color, the investor sees no others, the erection sees no blood.
Yo! What's up? Hola mi gente, it's your guy, Rhett Butler. Rhett Butler Life, if you want to check me out personally. And this is The Source. You're back. We are having the IG Live series yet again, and thank you again for tuning into your boy. Man, I got some surprises for y'all today. One of them is already out the bag. I got my man, Detroit's finest, Nickel 9 himself, Royce da 5'9", is stopping through the Instagram Live today in about 3 minutes or so. This guy's going to come here, and we're going to have a great conversation. For those who don't know, I love Royce da 5'9". I'm a big fan. This guy's amazing. Lyricism, okay? We know hip-hop has taken alternate routes, but it's okay. Because when we were younger, we were like, oh, whatever we thought was hot was hot. And nobody could tell us anything different, our parents, right? And then we grew up, and then we became those folks. I think we're still a little cooler. Sorry, baby boomers, no disrespect. But at the same time, we were a little more entrenched in the maturation of the culture as opposed to the starting point of the culture, the genesis of the culture like they were, right? So we have a different perspective. The 90s really cemented our perspective and our outlook on hip-hop music and lifestyle, and lyricism was a big part of that. I'm a 90s guy, trapped in the 90s as the saying goes. So somebody like Royce da 5'9", who, this guy's a lyrical tsunami with it. You know what I'm saying? When you have to literally pay attention, rewind, get the scroll bar going because he just said something that went over your head and you had to make sure that you were on point, that's when you know you're listening to a lyrical MC. That is Royce da 5'9". There's a few guys of that caliber, right? Black Thought is of that caliber. Eminem, of course, is of that caliber. Jay-Z is of that caliber. Nas, Biggie. I mean, I can go on and on. Okay, don't get me started on the cats whose names y'all might not have heard of from big marketing budgets. But Royce da 5'9" is of that ilk. And he released a project back in February called The Allegory. Wow. All I gotta say, I think this was his 8th studio album, I believe, as a solo artist, not counting the 6 he did as a member of like 3 groups. Yo, this guy's a problem. This guy's a problem. We respect problems over here. This is The Source, so we gotta make sure you get it all raw. What's good with everybody? Marshall Militant 9, what's up, baby? Nickel is yes, Nickel is one of them ones. I've been listening to Royce all day. This isn't a departure from my norm, by the way. I listen to this man. He's a smart guy. I had interviewed Graf, the artist Graf, not too long ago, and he's featured heavily, or I should say heavily, but he's featured on his project, on the Allegory project, as well as others. And he's a constant collaborator with Royce. And it really got into my spirit. I'm like, I need to talk to Royce, man, especially during this time, COVID-19. If you've heard the Allegory album and you understand a little bit about what Royce is about as a man, you'll understand why having him here today, very relevant. I'm one of these people, I like cerebral guys, man. People that think long and deep. And they convey those messages through lyrical communication, right? Over beats. Royce does that. And it's times like now we need these sages, right? These wise men and women that come into our lives sonically and help us all get through as well as impart knowledge. That's what this guy does. And big shout outs to Detroit. If anybody knows and has done their history on Detroit, Michigan, this is a place that was once extremely successful from the automotive industry, obviously, had its music wave with Motown, had its wave in crime with the gangsters. But Detroit is solid. Blue collar people. Shout out to all my peoples. I think it's called Greektown. Shout out to my people in Greektown, all my Albanians out there. I know a lot of people in Detroit. Last time I was in Detroit, Starvin' Marvin's was still around. If you're from the D, you know what I'm talking about, right? But talking to these guys that are from there, that really come from this blue collar soil, and that really understand life on a different plane, all the way what we need right now. So we're gonna bring you Royce. As soon as Royce checks in, we out here with it. And we got a lot to talk about with Royce today. I'm not gonna lie, man. I got a lot of questions. Royce is an ill dude. You gotta prepare for Royce the 5'9", because he's smart and he's definitely coming with that knowledge that you need. Let's get my man Royce up in here right now. And you are rocking with The Source yet again. My name is Rhett Butler. Big dog.
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Man, salute to you, family. How you been?
Salute to you, my brother. I'm good. Can't
Much
complain.
respect.
Hanging in there,
Sir,
trying to,
sir.
stay out the way, be positive.
Oh, we all staying out the way right now, Royce. We quarantined up out the way. Tell me about Detroit, man. How's it going out there? You know, I've been watching you on your gram. I know you've been doing your part, man, delivering food. I know you got the masks with the Heaven Studios on it. But what's the temperature like in the D right now, man?
We adjusting. Obviously the virus hit us really hard.
Yes.
To everybody out there that's kind of like subscribing to the conspiracy side, let me just tell you firsthand that, like they're gonna always like inflate numbers, and there's always gonna be some sort of propaganda to subscribe to, but like just like donating to the hospitals, donating masks, donating tests.
Right.
My auntie and uncle own one of the biggest funeral homes in Detroit. I seen firsthand like the effect it's having on Detroit. The bodies is just bodies on top of bodies on top of bodies on top of bodies.
Wow.
But, when I speak, I'm not speaking from the perspective of somebody that's looking at the news. I really don't even watch the news.
Right.
So all of the speaking on it that I've done has just been from firsthand experience. My father got infected with it. My cousin.
Oh man.
Like I think I know maybe 5 people that passed. It hit us real hard, super hard.
First and foremost, man, respect to your family and all that you have been through. That's number one. And I'm glad your father's feeling better. That's major. That's major.
Thank you. Yeah, that's all good, man. Pardon my chicken lip, man. I tried to line my own beard up, man. I had to take myself out the game. I'm on here looking crazy. I look like,
man, you good. You back at 25 again, man. We Gucci.
Man, old guys don't look young just because they cut.
I know that's holla at us. Shit, I know that's right, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man.
Bruh, from the fucking title. Okay, let's just get to the title. Niggas don't read and don't want to open up dictionary.com on some low shit on your phone. The title of the break lets you know what you're about to get into. 22 tracks of some real ass education ass shit where you're not bucking from what you're really feeling on certain levels about economics, America, politics, the way we interact as people via social media, these new methodologies of linking with each other through technology. And you did it in a very honest way, in a way that was very relatable to everybody's everyday experience. And I still think it probably went over a lot of Bama's heads unless they ran that shit back a few times. But I just wanted to talk about that process of being honest, man. And I'm gonna go through a couple interludes and songs, but just the honesty itself, was that something that you were just ready to do at this stage with this release, or was it something that you were holding back for a while and you were like, you know what, maybe this is now the time, to really keep it a buck with everybody about everything?
Yeah, I don't usually put a whole lot of thought prior to going into a project. I never hold back. I never like save nothing for later or nothing like that. You know what I mean? Like I just, whatever I'm feeling, wherever I am in life at the time, I just do,
Yeah.
And I just find that expressing myself truthful, you know, and just living in the center of my truth. That's the easiest way for me to do it. It's the most fulfilling upon completion. And I just, you know, I'm one of those fans as a kid that just kind of like, I'm used to growing with my favorite MCs.
Right.
I feel like I'm not just a fan of Jay-Z. I feel like I've been a part of his evolution.
Absolutely.
You know, like his evolution is documented. And I think now anytime you can get some kind of reality, you know, to come through the speakers or just be a part of the programming, I think it's pretty cool, because it's really, you know, like once hip hop, you know, took off as this great thing and became like this gazillion-dollar business.
Right.
It's really it's more so like a whole lot of money being spent to manipulate you. You know what I mean? Like to make you, you know, to sway your judgment this way, sway your judgment that way. And I think what we're dealing with right now, just with the quarantine and everybody kind of being forced to go back to the organic, most grassroots sort of aspect of all of this.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So like, if you think about it, when hip hop started, they said it was just people going to the park and watching the DJ spin. That's literally what we're doing now, you know. And we're doing it without the labels getting in the way. You know what I mean? Right. Even with Teddy Riley, even when he's trying to do extra things, gets in the way. Right. Basically, what labels do, they a lot of times, right? They kind of they confuse things. It's conflation. You know what I mean? So not everybody can disentangle all of that stuff. So I mean, with me, I just try to provide some balance. I realized a long time ago that we're not really in a competition with each other, lyricists. Everybody don't have the same goals. You know what I mean? When I first got into this shit, I thought we all just had the same mission. It was like to go to the top, and like it was a race. Right. And that's not true at all. You know, like some people don't want to be famous. Some people want to be famous. Some people want to be independent. Some people want to be somebody like MF Doom. He's such a big deal because of how mysterious he is. Facts. You know what I mean? Like, if you take away the mystique, then the thing that makes MF Doom special is no longer special. And I just think we got to always remember as artists that we got all of these options. You know what I'm saying? Like the platform, it just affords you to just do many things. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to like be as honest as possible. I feel like I'm learning a lot about myself through the art. You know, the more that I express things, the easier it is for me to be able to express things. It's kind of like therapy when I'm not in therapy. Right. You know, and it's just a good way to get shit off. You know what I mean? Like I said, like my fulfillment comes in the completion. Once I'm done with it, that's when I get my most fulfillment. And then once I give it to the people, it's theirs. It's no longer mine. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I just splash some paint on the canvas and just hang it up. Right. And you're more than welcome to come look at it or not. No offense taken. You know what I mean? And it is just on to the next thing. You know what I mean? And I just try to stay fulfilled in the process. So
yeah, I'm about to label like graffiti rap, man. It's like it's over there. Go see
it. Yeah. I mean, you know, people get a little bit too invested in things that don't really matter. You know, like if you look at the at those beat battles, and like every time they play a joint, nobody ever goes, "Oh man, you remember that? You remember that where that one charted?" You know what I mean? Right. Listen to that song. Remember that was number 3 on the charts, and it sold such and such the first week. You know what I mean? Like, we only talk about these things in a moment because it's just a talking point, but it really doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't mean anything. It's like we all got an opportunity to create something that may or may not make some type of impact and make a dent in history forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, God willing, you're one of the special people that gets chosen to do Illmatic. You know what I mean? Because Nas didn't say, "Yo, I'm about to go to the studio and do Illmatic." He went to the studio and was himself, and something special came out of it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I just think that just that concept alone is way deeper than just chasing some numbers.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I got to start from the intro, man. First and foremost, did you have a relationship with Derek Grace II before this, or was this somebody that you had been watching just based on his parental teaching guidelines and the way he's been so strategic with his children?
Yeah, I was watching him. I guess you can call it a fan. Yeah, I was just watching all his videos, following him real heavy because I like knowledgeable people.
Man,
You know, like I can sit and run my mouth with somebody that's smart forever. You know what I mean? Like I can just sit and listen to smart people talk and not say a word. And he's smart, but it throws you off a little bit because when you see him, his appearance doesn't say, "Hey, look at me, I'm extremely intelligent."
right.
It's almost like he's saying, "I want you to prejudge me so I can fuck you up." You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And I like that. I like
Right.
that. I like
Right.
that. So like, and there's something to be said about somebody who's brave enough to openly express their ideologies and things that they choose to teach their children. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
when you do that, you kind of leave yourself open for people to either agree or disagree.
Right.
To something that's really none of their business. You know what I'm saying? So like, I without even having to like subscribe to exactly what he's teaching his children, the fact that he inspired me to look for those teachable moments with my kids. You know what I mean? Because you can parent on autopilot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you can be that dad who just lets your kid know when they did something wrong. You know
Right.
what I mean? All of our dads and moms was good at that, letting us know when we did some wrong shit. You know what I'm saying? But what can your child actually say that you taught them? You know what I'm saying? So he inspired me to just look for more of those moments. And I just admire that. I admire that in any black man that takes those steps. You know what I mean? Because it's so many different things that we could be doing. You know what I mean? So to take that kind of initiative, that's not the easiest route.
Big facts, man. I have a 8-year-old son, and I must admit, I was a fan of Mr. Grace as well, which is why that resonated with me immediately when that was the first thing I heard. I was like, no, he didn't. And then when I heard it, it brought me back to when I first heard Mr. Grace, and I was like, wow, I need to start really taking more control of my son's situation. So now I have him doing like African-centered education on the weekends, literally because I'm trying to make sure to give him that balance.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing that leadership out there is what we need. So I applaud you for really highlighting that for the culture. That was major. That was definitely, absolutely, man. Next skit, the ice cream interlude was fucking amazing, right? Because it's such a normal thing. I grew up in New York City. The Mr. Softy, what we would think is the Mr. Softy song, is really called "Nigga Loves a Watermelon" by Harris Brown. So I'm here like, damn, Mr. Softy was fucking me up all these years.
Did you find that out when you heard the album, or did you know prior to?
I did know.
Okay.
Did know. I'm one of those people that's looking for the deeper meaning as well. So I did know. But I just thought the fact that you highlighted it in such a normal way, and then the flip side at the end. Wait, ain't you on Tinder, Nefertiti? Oh shit! And it really is that slap in the face, that cold water reality that's needed, bro, with the family dynamic, because your album is really a reinforcement of the black family dynamic, the right one. And I think that with each way that you're kind of like interlooping certain things in there amid the lyricism, I mean, like I said, if it goes over people's heads, I understand. Hopefully they'll listen to it again. But it's just so poignant. You know what I mean? It was just, the timing was right, and the way you did it was nuanced enough. And I appreciated that, especially that one too. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No,
you know
really.
what? Even if they don't get it, they're living it right now.
That's a fact.
We all living in the allegory of the cave right now.
Yes.
This is like everybody's paying attention to the way that they're receiving information. They're being super analytical.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we're finally getting an opportunity to see how powerful it is for us to move as a collective unit. We literally just moving hundreds of thousands of people around like it's nothing. Just
Right.
hey, come over here at 4 o'clock. Hey, come over here at 5 o'clock. Hey, come over here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
Right.
that's step one.
Yes.
Step 2 is going to be to realize who we're giving the content to.
Hey.
That's the next step. Because
So
you
with
got to know, you got to realize that along with that comes it's a certain level of cool
right.
that we're just giving away. You know,
Man.
you can't buy cool. You know what I mean? You can have all the billions of dollars. You can be a tech wizard.
Right.
You know, cool is just something it takes for the cool people to do cool shit on
Right.
your platform. And then you can make adjustments around the cool people as they let you know what's cool.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, with that being stated, and you look at, you know, the beat battles and just the way we're now utilizing technology in this way, do you think we're doing it the right way, or do you think that we still have many levels to go before we really understand what we even have on our hands?
I mean, it's levels to go, but I mean, you know, that comes with it. You know what I mean? And I think if we had to look for any kind of silver lining in this, I would say we taking steps. That's the important thing. You know, even if some of us are unconsciously doing it, just to be in the moment and to feel the power of our culture. You know, like this is our culture. We got our own little world, man. And when we decide that we all want to move together and we all want to meet up somewhere, it's powerful. It's powerful. So, you know, the next step would just be to realize that it's not just meeting up, it's flexing a muscle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
This is equivalent, you know, just like we all agree that we're gonna meet up somewhere and watch Preem versus RZA. That's equivalent to us just deciding, nah, we're all just not gonna, like they're gonna open up Georgia. All right, we're gonna stay quarantined. That's a muscle to flex.
That's a fact.
And then the next thing is we're not going to election. None of us.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, we got to channel that Montgomery bus boycott energy when they're telling us anything for real.
The Montgomery what?
Bus boycott energy.
The Montgomery must boycott?
Bus boycott.
The bus boycott?
Right.
What do you mean?
Meaning, like, we have to channel that energy of we're not following the norm. We're just telling our community what we're going to do to make a stand.
Right. Oh, you meant Montgomery, like Alabama?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So my last name Montgomery. That's why I was.
Oh shit, my bad. Salute to
I thought you were talking about my family again. I was about to say.
Nah, man, I don't want no
what did we do on the bus?
Royce, man.
My bad.
I know you throw them things too. We're gonna get into that boxing too, man, because I know you into this. But nah, man, just the solidarity component for sure. Because even to your point, I mean, looking at what the Georgia governor's about to do, and looking at how Mayor Keisha Bottoms of Atlanta is responding to the fact that she feels like, look, this guy's gonna open up my state in my city, and I have no control over this. We know that the numbers are gonna skyrocket. Now is the time for hip hop and the community, of color, of course, to take a stand and say, you know what, there's certain things we're not willing to do yet.
Yeah,
but poverty, throws the monkey wrench in there, obviously.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this next thing that I'm about to say. I'm gonna preface it by saying I'm saying this with all the respect in the world. I don't mean any disrespect, I promise. But for all intents and purposes, us in hip hop, our community, our influencers, we have more control over Atlanta than their mayor does.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? Like,
back to the mayor for sure, no doubt.
Yeah, like, and that's not to say she's not doing a great job. I'm just saying,
right.
Politics is politics. You know what I mean? Like, just like this is beyond her control, and they're opening it up against her better judgment. There's plenty of other things that's being done against her better judgment. So she can only do what she can do. Right. But I'm not so sure we could look at ourselves and say the same thing. Are we doing everything that we can do? I don't think so. I just don't think I don't think that it's been visited yet. You know what I mean? I don't even think that the thought has even been. We haven't got to that spot where we're really realizing some of the things that we can do. Right. Absolutely. Where do you feel like we're falling short at? I mean, we got to think as a collective. That's the elephant in the room. I don't think, man. I know. Right. That's it. That's all it is. If we just start thinking like a collective, it's just an understanding. And it's not so far-fetched. Every other group you can think of has it. It's like an unspoken code. The police have it. The police force has it. That's right. Executives, high-level executives have it. Hollywood has it. The government has it. Come on, man. We can just keep naming people. You know, the sporting franchises have it. Dead conglomerate. You know what I mean? And all of these groups that I'm naming are groups that are well documented and showing you that they are more than willing to come together to our detriment if need be. We're the only ones that don't have that code. You know what I mean? So that's why you got some black police officers on the police force. You know, they know that these police officers is killing our kids and shit. You know what I'm saying? But they got this code. They don't sell each other up the river. You know, they stick to the boys in blue thing. But they also they don't feel like that they have their own community to fall back on. So the second you start feeling like that, then it becomes every man for themselves.
Yes.
It don't have to be like that.
Right.
Maybe I'm just so optimistic about it because I grew up around Hasidic Jews. There was a community of Hasidic Jews literally 3 blocks away from where I grew up at.
Oh, wow.
So, at an early age, I was able to see a very self-contained group of people. They had their own church, their own schools, their own hospitals.
Police. Yeah, everything.
They won't even if there's like an emergency or something, they won't get in your ambulance.
Right.
They're not gonna let you take them to your hospital. They're just self-contained. You know what I mean? And like shit like this, like what's going on right now, this disaster, like the world is in a disaster. You don't hear them complaining about nothing, bro.
Right.
I'm just being honest.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the power of being able to move as a collective. You know, like, you know, as kids, we running around, we laughing at them like, oh man, you know, they don't be driving, they be walking. You know what I mean? Like, and
the curls.
But it's times like now where you see like, oh man, this is like, it's really important to have like a sense of fellowship and for that to be kind of like indoctrinated in you as a child.
Right.
You know, because through that fellowship, you can teach many things. You can teach many things. You know what I mean? So like all different ethnicities of people that I know, like they have a better business acumen. You know what I mean? Like my dad told me when I graduated high school, Army or go fill out applications. Go do that. You know what I mean? And then I know people like one of my Arabic homeboys, one of my best friends. I never seen him even consider filling out an application. Wasn't even an option on the table.
Right.
You just go from one business to the next business to the next business to the next business. You know what I mean?
Right. Do you think it's about foundational? Because even if we loop in the Black people in America interlude that you have, I mean, you're very clear. Like, what if we all took our collective talents as Black folks and went back to Africa? I think it was the president of Ghana that sent an open invitation, like, brothers, come back on some level. Do you think it's foundation building that we're missing in relation to collectivizing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, thinking as a collective is always going to play a part in every single facet, you know, but in terms of just a move like that, that's not even wishful thinking. That's just dreaming. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's fun to paint that kind of picture.
Yeah.
Because at least it opens up your mind to start looking at the way that that they program things. You know, so at a very, very young age, all of my memories of Africa was just like really, really late at night, Save a Kid Foundation, big bellies, flies flying on their faces.
Right.
You know, like giraffes, lions, you know what I mean? Like just, you know, big plates in their ears and you know what I mean? Like just people with spears, you know, it just make you see that shit on TV and it just makes you feel like, I don't ever want to go there. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So it's like, to me, it's a deterrent. It's just like, you know, yeah, you don't want to like that. Stay right here because, you know, it's trillions of dollars in the oppression of Black people in America.
Woof.
We don't need everybody just getting up and going home.
I mean, the narrative about Africa is allegorical within itself.
Yeah.
Facts.
Lots and lots and lots of money. They spend lots of money to make you think you don't got no money.
Well,
They
yes.
spend lots of money to convince Black people that there's no money in the Black community.
Right.
You know?
Wow. Hero, you know, you really, something that really touched me, man, because it's very rare for black men to really show a level of sincerity with their fathers openly in this way. You know, it's just really more of an opus to you and your father's relationship. And it was, again, very honest and very, very revealing. Something I really appreciated in the song was when you apologized to your father for not just having a man-to-man conversation for whatever disagreement y'all might have had at that time. And I just think just going through those motions for many people, especially probably your white listeners or people out of the culture, might have been the first time they heard a son, an older son, talking to his father with that kind of reverence, man. I mean, was that the goal? Did you consciously realize, like, you know what, there's not a lot of black father to sons conversations like this that are kind of open in a musical format? Or were you just like, you know what, I just want to do this for my pops, that's how I'm feeling right now?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to keep giving you boring answers, but yeah, I never do that. I never do that. I never go, you know, I'm gonna do this one for these people, and I'm gonna do this one for those people, and I'm not an employee of the people. You know what I mean? Like I decided I just didn't want to be that a long time ago, and I feel like a lot of artists are, and that's cool if that's what you want to do. You know, I don't think I can exist well in that space. It's like, this isn't Burger King. You can't have it your way. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you get. You know what I mean? Like you come over here and listen to this, you're signing up for the Royce show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I made Hero because I made a song called Cocaine on my last album. And my last album was called The Book of Ryan, and it was my self-defining album.
Yep.
So when you do a self-defining album, which I think every artist should have at least one, you know, just that one album that somebody can listen to, and when they're done listening to it, they feel like they have a better understanding of who you are as a person. I think every artist should have at least one of those, right?
Right.
And then from there, you can do whatever you feel, you know, whatever your journeys take you. But I made a song called Cocaine. Actually, throughout my whole album, I spoke my truth and I told my story, but along with that came other people's story from my perspective.
Right.
So it wasn't me telling their story. It was just me telling my story with them involved. That's very hard to do.
Got you.
Very difficult to do without somebody feeling like you're telling their story.
Right.
You know, and there's a certain level of there has to be an unapologetic truth to art sometimes. You know, so I made that album because I knew exactly what I wanted to say. And there was a lot of things that I just wanted to speak about because they made me feel better after speaking about them, especially like in therapy. And then, you know, like I had a moment where I felt like this could help some people. This may resonate with somebody. You know what I mean? Being very general, you know what I mean? So what happens in the Montgomery family, that's us, is when there's a issue or there's something, somebody has a problem with something, or somebody has a disagreement with something, or somebody doesn't like something somebody did, comments get made and they circulate around and they started to make their way to me. So my dad made some comments. Like, me and my dad always been cool. We always been good. So I guess he didn't feel like it was important enough for him to bring it to me, but he made some comments to my mom. And I heard him. I heard the comments. I understood where he was coming from. You know, he felt like that I spoke about a lot of things that he left in the past. You know, so it's very difficult for you to feel like you closed the door or you closed the book on a certain chapter in your life, and then somebody just kind of comes and opens it back up without speaking to you about it. But you know, that's the double-edged sword of being a father and growing up and growing older. You know, like once you get older, you looking at your children, you looking at all the decisions you made in the face. You know, this is life. You know what I mean? So I felt like me as the creative and as his son, somebody with the utmost respect for him.
Mhm.
I feel like there could have been some type of happy medium, because I didn't express anything in any type of way where it was like I was saying I was upset about anything or anything like that. It was actually a happy album. You know what I mean? Like, and when I spoke about him overcoming a drug addiction, and I spoke about my admiration for him for doing that. You know, but the fact that it got spoke about at all is,
Yeah.
Different people are going to perceive it different ways, and it's very interesting, man. 2 or 3 people, 4 or 5 people can be looking at the same story and seeing it 5 totally different ways.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? So, I learned a lot. I learned a lot through that process.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I already came to a realization that I'm never airing anything out publicly, anything personal. I learned my lesson with that a long time ago. So I was already at that place, so that's good. But with this particular thing, I wasn't airing anything out. I was just telling my story. So now I know I even got to be careful with that. So you can be an old man in this shit and still be learning stuff. So now when I'm writing, there's certain things that I won't even go near. You know. So it's cool.
What's your favorite project so far, man? I mean, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you dropped 8 solo albums, 6 group projects. What's your favorite out of your collection?
It's gonna always be Book of Ryan. It's gonna always be Book of Ryan. Whatever that self-defining album is, should always be your favorite. Always. You gotta work on it until it's your favorite. Absolutely. I worked on it for 3 years. I put the most work into it. It's the most. I spoke about the most things on it that's the most dear to my heart. So nothing can top that. Because I'm an MC by trade. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a blue collar MC. I like to roll my sleeves up and I like to do the work. Right. I'm a technician. I'm a practitioner. But, my love for the art doesn't come anywhere close to my love for my mom, my dad, my brothers. You know what I mean? So it can never compare.
Absolutely. I got to talk about, Royce da 5'9", that's the ultimate teammate, so to speak. It seems like people either you gravitate towards groups or people want you in their group, but you always find that key link for you in the group. Like, you're always defined in the group and kind of cement the group in relation to the lyrical dexterity and whatnot. How does that process normally happen for you? Is it normally like a recruitment situation, or is it super random? And me and Primo, me, Joel Ortiz, King Crooked, and Joe Buttons, like me and Eminem. Like, how does these things happen?
Well, Slaughterhouse just kind of happened. That was like a thing that just kind of fell in our laps. The stars were aligned. It was just meant to be like, it was meant to be that, and then during that process, I learned so much about the importance of collaborating first. And then I also just learned a lot about building a brand.
Right.
So when we were working on the last Slaughterhouse album and then we stopped, Joe started doing reality TV. And I can't remember what Crook and Joel were doing, but I remember feeling like I was kind of sitting around and I had ideas that I kind of wanted to get off. And I was talking to my man Mike, and he had that idea, the Adrian Young idea. He had that idea for Slaughterhouse. That was his idea. And they weren't really too big on the idea, but I really was into the idea. So I took it to Preem. Now this is after me having a better understanding of how to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we toured, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we did contracts, we did a record deal, you know what I mean? We did the whole underground circuit. We did good records, we did bad records. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got on bad tours, we got on good tours. So I kind of learned a lot from that situation. So this was the perfect opportunity for me to just kind of apply that to something else. Absolutely. And also just looking at things for what they are. Like, it's more than a few ways to skin a cat. Like, if you have an understanding of what your platform is, then you can just use it to do many things.
Right.
Black Thought's been doing it for 30 years. You know, he just uses his platform and he just does whatever he wants to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whatever he thinks is cool, he lends his time to it, and then he does whatever that is extremely well.
Facts.
And that's why he's so rich. That's why he's so relevant. That's why he's so respected. That's why he's so great. You know what I mean? Because he just understands what he is. So I went to Preem with the idea to do it. He reluctantly agreed. I had to like drag him. After about 3 songs,
Yeah.
he was in. He was in because he was a little bit concerned. That was like right after I got sober. So he was a little bit concerned would I be able to rap the same still.
Got you.
So I had to win him over with the raps. Once I did that, I got him. And then, you know, we've been building it ever since. You know, and it's just another thing just to go on a resume, just some more cool shit to be doing. I can scratch it off on my bucket list. You know what I mean? Like when I first worked with Preem, we reached out on a whim, you know, because I had just signed my deal with Tommy Boy. And they reached out to him and he was like, I'll listen to him to see what he sounds like, to see if I'll give him a beat. And he heard a freestyle and then he gave me a beat. Left me waiting at the studio for like 7 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm a kid who I wrote a letter to D&D Studios. You know what I mean? About studio time before I ever was even taking meetings. So it was surreal just to be in the same room with him. So to fast forward all of those years later and then start doing projects with him. It's just another thing off the bucket list. Good times. You know, I spoke to LL Cool J the other day, right?
I saw that. Yo, that was big, son.
Yes.
Yes. That was huge. That was huge. Shout out to LL. He's a friend of the source. Thank you for all that you do, man. We appreciate it.
That shit made my day. That shit made my day. That shit made my entire week. I've been in a good mood the whole week.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't even mind messing my face up after that.
You got the LL right now.
No, hell no. No, man. I got the chicken lip.
You know what I'm saying? Now, and he clearly was a fan of yours too, and was loving everything you want. So, I mean, that was huge.
Yeah, man. That's. I mean, you know, that's what success is to me. You know, it becomes subjective after a while.
Absolutely.
That's all we ever wanted as kids. As a kid, that's all I ever wanted.
Right. LL's definitely the standard. Like that guy. You know what I'm saying?
It's other guys that I fan out over, but those guys are fan out over LL. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
LL is he's like the top of the top.
Right. Nah, for sure. Yo, and we appreciate, you know, the honesty, and to your point about bringing people along your journey with the sobriety, because it's something that a lot of people are going through, and it's something that most people don't want to talk about, right? They want to keep it in the closet, keep it on the low, but you've been really open and honest with that, man. And it's something that, you know, I think resonates with a lot of folks. Clearly, most families, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, what in terms of that, like, what inspired and motivated you to want to be that honest with the people, your fans, about that part of your life?
Oh, yeah, I didn't know I was going to be that honest. You know, I started out afraid, just like all the other addicts. You know, I started going to therapy. And then when I talked about it just a little bit on records, like the reaction that I got, you know, not the reaction of saying, yo, I love that song, but the reaction saying, you just helped me get through ABC.
Word.
If it wasn't for that song, I probably wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? Like those types of things, you inspired me to become sober. You know, like I just got back with my wife. I just patched my family back together. Thank you. Thank you for showing me that a rapper can live that way too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Thank you for showing me I'm a young MC. Thank you for showing me that if I do stop, that I got faith that I'll still be good, you know, because that's like the main thing that we worry about. We worry about just completely losing it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Shit, I was prepared to pack up and get up out of here just in case. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know if I was gonna still be good or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
I mean, it's just it's that leap of faith that's worth it. You know, if you got a problem. So long story short, it was just like I loved the way it was resonating with people. In itself became kind of like an addiction for me. You know, like I really just started really noticing that I love the way that it feels to do nice things for people. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, I definitely know how it feels to do bad. Let me tell you.
You know what I mean?
I could fuck some shit up. I got the propensity to really fuck some shit up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like to like put that kind of negativity into the universe for such a long period of time, and to get to a point where it's like, wow, this is different. You know what I mean? So I kind of told myself, you know what? I like this better. I'm gonna just stay on this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just like one thing led to another. I started speaking at sobriety events. You know, like I started connecting with people, listening to different people's stories. It helps me. And then, you know, like that manifested itself into me running my mouth all day to younger artists, trying to, you know, give them as much game as possible. You know, it turns into many things. It's kind of like a confidence thing. I used to have high levels of anxiety. I used to hate to talk. If you look at any of my old interviews, you just be like, yo, it's not even the same person. You know, and it's just a testament to, if you somehow can get to a place where you either go into therapy or you're in a position to where you can express things, right, and you can get them out, and you can start learning things about yourself and start identifying with things that maybe you may need to correct. You can start correcting those things, and then you can start, you know, becoming a better whatever. You know what I mean? It's always room for improvement. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's ever going to be perfect.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that's pretty much it.
Evolution and that growth, man. That's what it's all about. I'm about to shift and put on my hat, man. Just so you understand, I'm of the culture as well. You know what I'm saying?
Welterweight?
Yeah, but right now, understand the way my quarantine was set up, I'm a couple pounds over that welterweight limit right now. Nah, but I just want to let you know, man, you know, I'm part of the Boxing Writers Association. I know you're good friends with my good friend Andres Hale and such. And, you know, I'm a boxing aficionado, man. I know you love the game. I know you train. I see you, you know, me teaching your kids as well. Coming from Detroit, man, I mean, sheesh, Kronk, Jim, Emmanuel Stewart, just the lineage you guys have in the sport. How early were you exposed to boxing? Is it something that you grew up with or something you chose up as an adult?
Nah, as early as I can remember. I don't have a memory earlier than boxing. My uncle is a pro fighter. He fought on CBS. My dad was in his corner. He fought Donald Curry on CBS.
Wow.
Dad was in his corner in Vegas. He black belt karate, kickboxer. My dad had 6 brothers. So, you know, everybody played some kind of sport or did some type of full contact, engaged in some type of full contact, combat, something, you know. Right. So, I mean, it's just, I've been around the boxing gym, and I've just been around it for as early as I can remember. You know what I mean?
You know, Idris Elba had a Muay Thai fight.
I seen it.
He did his thing. He looked real good, actually. You know what I'm saying? I gotta ask, man, will we ever see Royce do an amateur boxing event, or have you ever done any kind of fighting on your own?
I mean, I fought before. Yeah, I didn't compete, but I sparred. I sparred enough to where nobody's ever punching me in my face again.
My man. Yeah.
So you ain't got to worry about ever me catching the bug. I caught the bug a couple times since I've been in the game, since I've been in music. I caught the bug a couple times. I went because it's a gym connected to my studio. So,
oh hell yeah!
Yeah, I went over there. And I was sparring a little bit, but it's like when I was younger, it was different. You know what I mean? Like you actually like, you know, you like making contact. I used to I like getting hit.
Yeah.
I like hitting shit. I like getting hit. Now I don't like getting hit no more.
I know that's right.
I went over there and sparred. And I was sparring with one of my pro dudes who know how to go light on me. I didn't even like those punches. So I was like, yeah, bug over.
Do you
I never, you never got to worry about me competing, bro.
No doubt. Did you ever spend any time with like Emmanuel Stewart or see these guys around Detroit?
My uncle did.
Wow.
I just, you know, Of course, I've met him and seen him a bunch of times, but no, I didn't get a chance to spend none. Marshall did. That's what's crazy. Marshall used to train with him. He used to come to his crib and train.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Him
That's
and Manny,
dope.
him and Manny was real tight.
Wow. That's official. That's official. Any plans for another Bad Meets Evil?
We never really planned it.
Mm.
You know.
I'm starting to see a running theme here, Royce. Dope shit just be happening. This is kind of fly, man.
No, just with that, just because think about it, man. Like there's no way for me to make any type of predictions or decisions with somebody that's that famous and that crazy.
That's a fact.
You know, M is a loon. He's nuts. He's like a hypochondriac, man. Like I talk to him right now, man. We'll talk for an hour just about the coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? Like he's crazy. He's crazy.
Yeah.
It's I never know what he's gonna do. You know what I mean? Like he'll call me one day and be like, "Yo, I'm at the studio. I just started something. I want you to come check it out." Usually when he says that means he wants me to rap on something. But he's always recording, so I don't know. Like I don't know if he's gonna do another album. I don't know. I never know what he's gonna do. He always so secretive.
Copy. What's your favorite era in boxing? 80s, 90s?
Man, that's a good question. It's
You
gotta be
stacked.
Man, it's I don't even know if it's a way. Is it an answer to that question? You got one?
Shit. I got a couple errors, but I'm greedy.
Yeah, I got a couple errors. I mean, you know, I love the you know what's a slept on era in the heavyweight division? With Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield, Burt Cooper,
Yes.
all them guys. It was kind of Lennox was in there, but he was still kind of young.
Yeah.
Like coming up, Lennox. Who was another dude? Ray Mercer.
Yeah, Ray Mercer.
Tommy Moore. Like they had like a lot of killers all at one time, and they were fighting each other.
Right.
And Riddick Bowe was a problem.
Yeah.
He was a problem. Evander Holyfield was still a little small.
Right.
He came up from the light heavyweight division, so he was still a little small. He was getting up there.
Right.
But bruh, Riddick Bowe.
Riddick, Big Daddy. That dude was a problem. Whole problem.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that era. I like everything Sweepy, everything Pernell Whitaker. I like everything. I like everything about that era, the Chavez era, Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad. Another slept on era is what's my man, the Hawk?
Oh, you talking about God Bless the Dead. He just passed too. Aaron Pryor.
Aaron Pryor too, but no, I'm talking about Julian. Is it what Julian Jackson? Is it no wait?
Oh yeah, from Jamaica, yeah,
Bro.
Julian Jackson and
Is it Julian Jackson?
Yep.
Yeah, he's my favorite puncher of all time.
That's a big statement. Okay,
The Hawk.
Yeah,
The Hawk.
right.
Him and Nigel Benn.
Yeah.
They had my guy Gerald McClellan from Detroit. He fought Nigel Benn and messed his head up.
Right. Yeah, that was a crazy era.
They was punching. I like young Pacquiao. Young Pacquiao with Eric Morales and all of them.
Right.
Barrera. What's my man that used to come hopping in the ring and dancing and shit? Prince Nassim.
Yeah, Prince Nassim Hamed.
I knew he was gonna get washed. I knew it. That was like one of the biggest arguments in my house.
Word.
I'm like, man, y'all overhyping this dude, man. He ain't fighting nobody. He all flash.
Man. Yo, how far is Grand Rapids from Detroit?
It's a little ways, a few hours. Few hour drive.
I'm just wondering, why are those two such boxing hotbeds? I didn't know if they were like real close or.
I mean, they close in that regard.
Facts.
Close in that regard, for sure. I mean, a lot of the fighters from Grand Rapids know. Pretty much all the fighters in Detroit know all the fighters in Grand Rapids. They like tight. Flint too. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit of a ways when you talking about just traveling there by car or whatever. But when you speaking like rappers or fighters, it's right next door. Like John Connor, it's like he might as well just be a Detroiter. He's from Flint, but consider him a Detroiter.
Copy.
A neighbor.
Yeah, shout out to Clarissa Shields, Flint.
Oh yeah. That's my girl. That's my girl.
The homie, she's good peoples, man. Man, these times have been crazy. You know, we've been really setting up these Instagram lives for the fans and the audience to really connect with those that they love in a different way, man. We appreciate you stepping out here, doing what you're doing for the people of Detroit, the world, being honest and delivering this positive music, bro. Thank you so much for your time, Royce. This has been a pleasure for me, and I know for the fans as well, just to be able to connect with you in a real way, man. We appreciate that.
Thank you, my brother. Love and respect to you, man. Thank you for those kind words.
Nah, most definitely, man. Be safe out there, man. We watching and we listening, man. Some of us are still listening.
Cool.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Thank God.
Listening.
Thank God, because it don't got to be that way.
For fact. Be safe,
Thank you, man. Love and respect.
God bless, man.
Peace.
Much respect. Yeah, man. You already know what it is. I'm gonna take my fighting hat off. If you guys didn't know, I'm trying to get back to 147. But you know the way this quarantine is set up. The love handle over here, then met the love handle over there, and they not falling out of love. I'm just talking shit. I'm sorry. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have Royce the 5'9". You know, I'm chopping it up with this man for like almost an hour. I didn't want to hold him too long. I know he does his thing, but I wanted to make sure we got as many questions in as possible because Royce is ill, very cerebral. I said this before about one of his partners in rhyme, Graf. Very cerebral guys, man. And I'm gonna tell you something, just like he said about being able to be around smart people and he can just listen and soak it all up. That's what we're all doing when we listen to this man's album, when we hear his interviews, as well as any mixtape appearances and all those kind of great things, right? We gotta hold up our lyricists up high, especially those that are delivering edutainment, not just education and or entertainment, but edutainment, which is what we hope and strive to do here on the Source platform. I'm gonna hit some of your questions and then I'm gonna, tag somebody in on this live and then I'm gonna get up out of here, all right? Oh man. Yeah, these were for Royce. I'm sorry, y'all. He answered most of them though. Winning. All right, y'all. I think I'm gonna flex out. I appreciate you guys. Let us rap. I knew it was coming. I was waiting. You see, I was about to press the button. But somebody, here we go. We got the artist. All right, let's rock out. I'm gonna hit it with my man, Dobie Tashay. See what Dobie Tashay talking about. Dobie Tashay.
Oh my God.
What it do?
Man, I wasn't even expecting you to request me. I mean, to accept it, but
like
I
that.
appreciate
in the
it.
game.
Hey, I go by Not Again Shay. This is my spam page, so you see I was not prepared. But Not Again Shay, I'm from the Bay Area right now. I'm up here in Berkeley. You feel me? What you doing? You doing like rapping and stuff?
Nah, we just interviewed Royce the 5'9", and now I'm just tapping in with the people, saying what's up, making sure you good out here.
I'm trying to stay safe. Most definitely trying to stay safe.
What part of the Bay you in?
Well, say that again.
What part of the Bay are you in?
I'm in Berkeley right now.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm from Vallejo, but I'm in Berkeley right now. Definitely trying to stay
Berkeley's
safe.
a beautiful, beautiful place.
Oh, most definitely. Beautiful
Love
people as well. Beautiful black people.
Yeah, shout out to I used to be over there on Hegenberger at that Walmart over there on Hegenberger and all that and
Real shit. Hey, I appreciate it though. Check me out, Not Again Shay on Instagram. Right on.
All right.
Love.
Be safe. Check her out. Not Again Shay. She out here. She's in the Bay. The Bay's doing good. I'm gonna tap out, y'all. We'll go one more. We'll go one more. Then I'm gonna tap out. Native Son. What's up, champ?
Peace, family. How you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. How you doing?
Blessings, man. Yo, I go by the name of Native Son. I'm based in Denver, Colorado. That's spelled
Hey!
VSON 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I do. I'm an independent entity. I do my thing out here. I'm all about edutainment, do
That's right.
poetry, do a lot of events with, when government has their debates, work with the NAACP. When, I
Okay.
do shows with people like Talib, KRS, when they come out, I get the opportunity to open and just doing my best to maintain and figure it out and gain momentum. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I love
Appreciate
Denver
it.
first and foremost, man. I got a lot of family down in Five Points, man.
Oh, and the points? I do. I be down there, like the
Yeah, yeah,
Juneteenth festival.
yeah.
When Kwanzaa comes around, we focus on that. Those are the strong points. Brother Jeff over on the points.
No doubt.
Welton Street Cafe.
No
Next time
doubt.
you in town, make sure you grab some wings. But hey, it's love, man. We just working hard to gain to gain that eye to show that we are available for business and able to provide a quality service and or product if given the opportunity to get that business because we know it's all about mutual
Understood.
investment and we got to start somewhere,
Are,
you
are
know.
you guys still on lockdown?
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be lifted this Sunday. Touchy
Hey, okay.
subject. I'm going to be
Right,
more observant. I don't
right.
understand how we can shut our national borders, but then want to open up our states. You get what I'm saying? It's
Copy.
too much leveraging of the coronavirus and the opportunity going on. I'm not comfortable
Understood.
with it. We have to be more mindful of ourselves, our families, and what we're doing. Decisions are big and
Absolutely.
choices matter.
Big
Yeah, I
time,
had
man.
some
And
bars
thank you for letting the people know.
for you, man. I got a quick 16 too, man. I got a quick
And
16, man. If you,
handle it. You got it, man.
uh, yo, above average consumption of cannabis, corrupt analogies to analyze our amethyst drift, proceed as panelists and go beyond the amateur's haze. Our forte void contaminant on demand of the aggregate, all's inclusive, original as the Constitution, never could amend because they constitution another man when the truth is brung, eternal truth, a primal proof of one. I'm on fire like the ruthless sun, spit that ruthless ruger tongue, hit ya limb from the roots and up, hold your arms, God bless them, Smith and Wesson. Feel time unravel as a ball of yarn between the cat's paw. Proceed curious. All he needs is one wish and a monkey's paw, cause he won't hear no, speed no, or see no more. Hey, it's kind of a delay, man. So
Got it.
I was, you know,
Nah, you good,
it
man.
takes
We
off,
we, we
man.
definitely can understand, and we hear where you're coming from, man. I feel you, man. Let everybody
Yeah, most
know
definitely.
where they can projects. What let everybody know what you need them to know right now.
Hey, no problem. Once again, I go by the name of Native Son, but it's spelled a little different. It's one NATVSON one. Very esoteric and a lot of meaning. The one and the one,
Word.
polarity. Coming together in the middle to make a V, which is the Arabic numeral for seven. Seven being the number of
Mm-hmm.
God within the self. The seven plus one and one make nine, so completion. So it got to be
Mm.
more about than just what's being
Right,
said. I
right.
like people to pay attention to the
Yeah,
context of what's being presented and how that's affecting people. Because sometimes when you make music, you're like, I want to make music that I like, but sometimes you got to think, yo, people really listen, and this is really preparing people for something. This is really,
thanks.
this has the power to change lives. So am I bringing that power forth, and am I using it
Right.
wisely? Right?
Nah, man. Respect you, man, and we appreciate you dropping them
Peace.
jewels as well. Thank you, man.
Hey, no, appreciate you, man. Anytime, look me up. Let's work, man. It's open. One
Dude, I will.
NATVSON one dot info if you need to know. That's how you get there.
Absolutely.
Peace, love, and blessings.
All right, bro.
Appreciate you, brother.
Safe out there, man. Yes, sir.
Bless.
All right, y'all. You already know what it is. We had to talk to the community. We went from we went from Detroit to Oakland to Denver, and I'm here in New York. Yo, much love to everybody. Again, my name is Rhett Butler. If you want to follow me personally, it's at Rhett, RHETT, Butler, BUTLER, Life, LIFE. I'm out here. We love you. Stay tuned. We have so much more in store. I promise you. Me, the owner of the source, Elon Del McMillan, we talk a lot about how to deliver y'all this fuego content and keep bringing you those news makers, not those news fakers. God damn it. We love you. We appreciate you. Shout out to Royce the 5'9". If you ain't check it out yet, check out that allegory. And I'm going to go out the same way I came in. Masked up. Don't forget, it's still real outside. And we out. Ah! Got him.